Have you ever been manipulated, used or drained of every ounce of your emotional energy? Have you ever found yourself questioning your sanity, wondering how someone could treat you so poorly, yet make you feel like you're the problem? If you've ever been in a relationship where someone constantly takes and never gives, where their drama becomes your burden, or where every day feels like a battle, this video is for you. It's time to break free from the cycle of emotional abuse and manipulation. I'm going to show you 13 clever ways to deal with toxic people, using the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, techniques that have been around for thousands of years, but are more relevant than ever in today's world. Let's dive deep into the heart of manipulation, control and emotional warfare, and arm you with the tools to protect your peace and take back your life. Relationships today, whether romantic, family, or even friendships, can be incredibly toxic. We live in a world where people are conditioned to manipulate others. To get what they want, toxic individuals will drain you dry, leaving you feeling exhausted, powerless, and questioning your self-worth. But here's the thing: they don't control you. You have the power to rise above their tactics and take control of your emotional well-being. That's what the Stoics understood so well. Control what you can and let go of the rest. In this video, we're going to uncover 13 powerful strategies based on Stoic philosophy that will help you handle toxic people like a warrior. We're not talking about passively accepting abuse. We're talking about taking bold, decisive action to protect yourself, reclaim your peace, and become emotionally bulletproof. Number 1, identify toxic behavior. Let's start with something that should be obvious, but often isn't. Identifying toxic behavior. Now, I want you to think hard. Have you ever been in a situation where someone makes you feel like nothing you do is ever good enough? Whether it's a friend, partner, or family member, they criticize every little thing, constantly question your decisions, and somehow they're always the victim. You find yourself apologizing even when you didn't do anything wrong. Sound familiar? That's manipulation 101. And it's classic toxic behavior. Toxic people are like emotional parasites. They drain you, suck the life out of you. But they do it so subtly that you often don't realize it until you're completely exhausted. They're masters of the silent jab. The small, seemingly innocent comments that undermine your confidence and make you question your worth. It might sound like, "Oh, I was just joking," or "Why are you so sensitive?" But don't let their words fool you. That's emotional manipulation at its finest. You see, toxic people love to play the victim. They'll turn every situation around and make you feel guilty for simply standing up for yourself. How many times have you heard, "I can't believe you would do this to me," or "After everything I've done for you, you treat me like this"? That's manipulation, designed to make you doubt your instincts and lower your defenses. The first step in breaking free is recognizing these behaviors for what they are: emotional abuse. It's not just a bad day or miscommunication. It's a deliberate attempt to control and manipulate you. Once you see through the mask they wear, you can start taking steps to protect yourself. And here's a golden rule to remember. If you have to constantly justify someone's behavior to others or yourself, that's a huge red flag. Trust me, healthy relationships don't require you to explain away mistreatment. Toxic ones do. Number 2, understand it's not personal. Now here's a mind-blowing truth. It's not about you. Toxic people's behavior is never about you. It's always about them. I know that sounds simple. But think about it. How many times have you taken their words to heart? Questioning yourself, wondering if you really are the problem. They make you feel like everything is your fault. But guess what? It's not. Their toxic behavior is a reflection of their own inner turmoil, their own insecurities, and their inability to take responsibility for their own actions. Have you ever noticed how a toxic person will lash out at you when they're feeling insecure or stressed? Maybe they had a bad day at work, or they're unhappy with their own life. Instead of dealing with their issues, they project that negativity onto you. Suddenly, you're the target. They'll twist situations to make it seem like you're the one causing the problems. But in reality, they're just looking for someone to blame. And here's where Stoicism comes into play. The Stoics had a powerful insight. We don't control what others do, only how we respond. Toxic people want you to react. They want to trigger your emotions, because that's how they maintain control. But once you understand that their behavior has nothing to do with you, you can rise above it. You can let go of the guilt, the self-doubt, and the need to fix them. Because here's the truth, you can't fix them. You can only protect yourself. When they try to drag you into their emotional mess, remind yourself it's not about me. You are not their therapist, their emotional punching bag, or their scapegoat. Their issues are their responsibility, not yours. Number 3, set clear boundaries. Okay, now that you've recognized the toxic behavior and understand it's not personal, it's time to set some serious boundaries. And when I say boundaries, I don't mean vague, wishy-washy lines in the sand. I mean firm, non-negotiable rules that protect your peace and well-being. Because here's the thing, toxic people hate boundaries. Why? Because boundaries limit their power over you. Let me tell you a little secret. The reason toxic people keep pushing your limits is that they're testing you. They want to see how much they can get away with. It might start with small things, like constantly texting or calling you at all hours, interrupting your work, or demanding your attention when you need space. Then it escalates before you know it. You're sacrificing your time, your energy, and your mental health just to keep them happy. But here's the kicker, you don't owe anyone your energy. Your time and emotional well-being are precious, and you have every right to protect them. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary. You have to be able to say no without guilt, without explanation, and without fear of retaliation. Here's a simple but powerful boundary. Stop explaining yourself. Toxic people love to drag you into endless explanations. Why don't you want to do this? How come you're acting this way? Don't you care about me? They'll use guilt, manipulation, and even anger to make you justify your decisions. But here's the thing. You don't need to justify your boundaries to anyone. Next time they try to cross a line, simply say, "This is what I need," or "I'm not available for that period." End of conversation. The more you stand firm in your boundaries, the more they'll realize they can't manipulate you. And eventually, they'll either adjust their behavior or move on to someone else who will tolerate their nonsense. Number 4, master the art of non-reaction. Now this next step is where you start taking back serious control. Mastering the art of non-reaction. Toxic people feed off your reactions. They push your buttons to get a rise out of you. Because, let's face it, they live for the drama. Every time you react, whether it's with anger, frustration, or even sadness, you're giving them exactly what they want. Power over your emotions, but here's the thing. You have the power to stop them dead in their tracks. Stoicism teaches us that while we can't control other people's actions, we can control how we respond. Imagine this: you're in the middle of an argument with a toxic person. They're throwing accusations, insults, and blame your way, hoping to trigger a reaction. What if, instead of engaging, you stayed completely calm? What if you simply didn't react at all? This might sound crazy, but I guarantee it's one of the most powerful moves you can make. When you stop reacting to their nonsense, you strip them of their power. They can't control you if you refuse to play their game. I know it's hard, especially when they're pushing every button. But non-reaction is like building an emotional shield around yourself. The more you practice it, the less their words and actions will affect you. When someone tries to provoke you, pause. Take a deep breath instead of reacting immediately. Think to yourself, I don't need to engage in this. Say something neutral, like I hear what you're saying, or I'll think about it. And then walk away from the conversation. You don't owe them an emotional response. And you certainly don't owe them your peace of mind. Number 5. Use the gray rock method now. Let's talk about one of the most effective techniques for dealing with toxic people who crave drama: the gray rock method. This strategy is a game changer when dealing with someone who thrives on chaos. Toxic people want your attention, your energy, and most of all, your reaction. So what do? You become as boring and uninteresting as possible. Like a gray rock. Picture this. Every time this person tries to stir up drama, you respond with the dullest, most neutral response imaginable. They're expecting you to explode, to cry, or to engage in a heated argument. But instead, you stay calm, indifferent, and completely uninterested in whatever chaos they're trying to create. You give them nothing to work with. Why does this work? Because toxic people feed off your energy. When you react emotionally, you're giving them fuel, but when you become a gray rock, emotionless, detached, and completely unfazed by their antics, they lose interest. They thrive on drama. And without it, they're left with nothing. Over time, they'll either adjust their behavior because they're not getting the reaction they want, or they'll move on to someone else who will feed their need for chaos. Now, this isn't about being passive or letting them walk all over you. It's about protecting your peace by refusing to engage in their game. You're not giving them access to your emotions, and that's the ultimate form of control. Try it the next time someone tries to suck you into their toxic drama. You'll be amazed at how quickly the dynamic shifts when you become completely unreactive. Number 6, the broken record technique. Toxic people are relentless. They don't take no for an answer, and they'll keep pushing you until you give in. Sound familiar? Ever had someone try to guilt trip or manipulate you into doing something you clearly don't want to do? Maybe it's a friend who always expects you to drop everything to help them, or a partner who keeps asking for something you've already refused. These people are like bulldozers. They keep coming at you, pushing and pushing until you eventually cave in. This is where the broken record technique comes into play. And trust me, it's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever use. Here's how it works. Instead of getting dragged into an argument or trying to justify yourself, you simply repeat your stance over and over like a broken record. Picture this: someone asks you to do something unreasonable, and instead of explaining, justifying, or debating, you calmly say, "I'm not comfortable with that." They push back, but you don't budge. You repeat, "I'm not comfortable with that." No emotion, no defensiveness, just calm, steady repetition. Eventually, they realize they can't break through your wall, and they either give up or reveal their true colors. This technique is especially useful in close relationships, where the toxic person feels entitled to your time, energy, or resources. The beauty of the broken record technique is that it doesn't escalate the situation, but it firmly reinforces your boundaries. Toxic people thrive on wearing you down, but when you stand your ground with unwavering consistency, they lose their grip. Remember, your boundaries aren't negotiable, and you don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. Number 7, limit exposure to toxic people. One of the toughest truths you'll have to face is that some people are just bad for you, no matter how much you love them or how long you've known them. They bring nothing but negativity into your life, and the more time you spend with them, the more drained and unhappy you become. Toxic people are emotional parasites. They feed off your energy, your kindness, and your attention. But here's the thing: you don't owe them anything. Not your time, not your emotional energy, and definitely not your mental health. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to limit your exposure to toxic people. I know that cutting ties or creating distance can feel difficult, especially if the person is a family member, a longtime friend, or someone you care about deeply. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Your well-being has to come first. If someone constantly makes you feel small, stressed, or emotionally exhausted, it's time to put some distance between you and them. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself to protect your peace. Limiting exposure can take many forms. It might mean seeing them less frequently, keeping conversations brief, or avoiding sensitive topics that trigger toxic behavior. If it's a coworker, it could mean limiting interactions to strictly professional matters. If it's a family member, it might mean setting strict boundaries around when and how you engage with them. You can still be polite and respectful while guarding your energy. Your mental health is priceless, and toxic people are not entitled to take that from you. Number 8, build your support system. One of the most insidious tactics toxic people use is isolating you from others. They'll subtly or not so subtly undermine your other relationships, making you feel like they're the only ones you can rely on. Over time, they chip away at your confidence, making you doubt your judgment and distancing you from the people who genuinely care about you. This is how they maintain control, feeding off your dependency and keeping you trapped in their toxic web. But here's a powerful truth. You don't have to do this alone. Building a strong support system is one of the most effective ways to counter the influence of toxic people. Surround yourself with people who genuinely care about your well-being, who support your growth, and who respect your boundaries. Whether it's family, friends, or a community of like-minded individuals. Having a solid network of support will make all the difference in how you navigate toxic relationships. When you have people in your corner who lift you up, it becomes much harder for toxic individuals to tear you down. Your support system should consist of people who encourage you to be the best version of yourself, those who challenge you to grow, but in a way that feels empowering, not draining. These are the friends who call you out when you're sleeping, but do so with kindness, not judgment. They're the ones who respect your boundaries, support your decisions, and never make you feel guilty for choosing what's best for you. When you have a tribe of people who love and respect you, toxic people lose their grip because they no longer hold the power of isolation over you. Remember, the stronger your support system, the weaker the toxic person's hold on your life. Find your people, lean on them, and let their positivity reinforce your own strength. Number 9, prioritize self-care. Toxic people are exhausting. Whether it's emotional manipulation, constant criticism, or relentless negativity, they have a way of sucking the life out of you. That's why self-care isn't just a luxury. It's a necessity. Think of self-care as your emotional armor, protecting you from the corrosive effects of toxic relationships. Without it, you're vulnerable to burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. So what does self-care really look like? When you're dealing with toxic people, it's not just about bubble baths and spa days, although those can help too. Real self-care is about making choices that protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. It's about knowing when to say no without feeling guilty. It's about creating space for yourself to recharge, reflect, and recalibrate. Most importantly, it's about recognizing that your needs are just as important, if not more important, than anyone else's. Here's a hard truth: toxic people will never prioritize your needs. They'll always expect you to put them first, to sacrifice your time, energy, and well-being for their benefit. But here's the key: you don't have to. You have the right to put yourself first, to take care of your mental health, and to refuse to let their negativity drain you. This might mean taking breaks from social interactions, practicing mindfulness or meditation, or engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. Self-care also means recognizing when you've had enough. If a toxic person is pushing you to your limit, it's okay to take a step back. Create space and focus on your own healing. Stoicism teaches us the importance of maintaining inner peace, and self-care is the foundation of that peace. When you prioritize your well-being, toxic people lose their ability to control you because you're no longer dependent on their approval or validation. Number 10, recognize you cannot fix everyone. One of the hardest pills to swallow when dealing with toxic people is this: you cannot fix them. It doesn't matter how much you love them, how much effort you put in, or how many sleepless nights you spend trying to understand their behavior. You are not responsible for their healing. Toxic people are often stuck in patterns of manipulation, blame shifting, and control because it serves their needs. Whether it's emotional validation, power, or simply a twisted sense of control over others, the more you try to fix them, the more trapped you become. Have you ever tried helping someone, only to realize that your efforts go unnoticed or unappreciated? Maybe you've been in a relationship where your partner constantly made you feel like you weren't doing enough, no matter how much you bent over backward. This is how toxic people trap you in a cycle of guilt and obligation. You're constantly trying to fix them, but they never change because deep down they don't want to. Here's a wake-up call: you are not their savior. You cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on what we can control. And you cannot control other people. The only person you have control over is yourself. When you stop trying to fix others and start focusing on fixing your own boundaries and reactions, you'll find freedom. You'll reclaim the energy you've been wasting on someone who never appreciated it in the first place. The moment you realize you don't have to fix toxic people is the moment you become free from their manipulation. It's not your job to fix broken people. You deserve relationships where you are valued and respected, not ones where your emotional labor goes unnoticed and unrewarded. Number 11, use cognitive reframing. Here's where the real mental shift happens. Cognitive reframing toxic. People have an uncanny ability to make you feel like the villain in their story. They twist situations, manipulate facts, and make everything your fault. But here's the truth: it's not about you. It's about them. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others, but we can control our perception of the world. This is where cognitive reframing becomes a powerful weapon. Let's say you're in an argument with someone who constantly criticizes you. Instead of taking their words to heart, you can reframe the situation. Their criticism isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their insecurities. By shifting your perspective, you take away their power to hurt you. You begin to see their toxic behavior for what it truly is: a projection of their own fears and inadequacies. Think about how often toxic people gaslight you, making you question your reality or sanity. Cognitive reframing allows you to take a step back and say, wait a minute, this isn't about me. This is their problem. When you mentally reframe their behavior as a reflection of them, not you, you regain your emotional strength. You stop internalizing their toxicity. Next time a toxic person lashes out, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this really about me? Or is this a reflection of their own internal struggles? 9 times out of 10, you'll realize it's the latter. This mental shift is a game changer. Once you stop personalizing their actions, you'll find it much easier to protect yourself emotionally and stay calm in the storm of their drama. Number 12, practice forgiveness for your own peace. This one might sound contradictory, but stay with me. Forgiveness is not about letting the toxic person off the hook. It's about freeing yourself. Now, I'm not talking about excusing their behavior or pretending it never happened. I'm talking about releasing the emotional baggage that comes with holding on to anger, resentment, and hatred. Here's the hard truth: when you hold on to that negativity, you're only hurting yourself. Think about it. While you're seizing with anger over how someone wronged you, they've likely moved on with their life. Meanwhile, you're stuck, replaying the same painful memories over and over again in your head. That anger you're holding on to, it's not punishing them, it's punishing you. This is where Stoicism shines. Marcus Aurelius taught that we must learn to forgive, not for the sake of others, but for our own inner peace. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or excusing someone's behavior. It means choosing to let go of the emotional grip they have on you. It means you're no longer letting their toxic actions define your mood, your happiness, or your life. Forgiveness is about reclaiming your power. Here's how to put this into practice. Start small instead of jumping straight to forgiving someone for a major betrayal. Practice forgiving minor offenses first. Let go of the small irritations, the rude comment, the dismissive attitude, and see how much lighter you feel over time. This will build your emotional resilience and prepare you to forgive even the bigger hurts. And remember, you're doing this for you, not for them. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-care. When you let go of resentment, you free up mental space for peace, growth, and joy. Toxic people don't get to live rent-free in your head anymore. You're evicting them starting today. Number 13, when to walk away. Here's the final and arguably most powerful point. There comes a time when you must walk away. It doesn't matter how long you've known them, how close you've been, or how much history you share. When someone continually disrespects your boundaries, manipulates your emotions, or drains your energy, you need to walk away. Walking away isn't weak. It's the strongest move you can make. It's the ultimate declaration of self-worth. Toxic people will try to convince you that you're the problem, that if you leave you're abandoning them, or that you're giving up too soon. Don't buy into their lies. The truth is you've given enough of yourself. You fought long enough to save a relationship that only drains you. And now it's time to choose yourself. Imagine being in a toxic romantic relationship where your partner constantly undermines you, insults you, or makes you feel like you're walking on eggshells. No amount of love or effort on your part will fix that. The healthiest thing you can do is walk away. It's not easy. There will be guilt, sadness, and fear of the unknown. But nothing is worth sacrificing your mental and emotional health. Walking away is about reclaiming your life. It's about refusing to let toxic people continue to have power over you. It's about making the bold decision to prioritize yourself and your well-being. This is your life, and you deserve peace, happiness, and fulfillment. You cannot achieve those things while staying tethered to someone who constantly drags you down. Here's the bottom line. You cannot heal in the same environment that's making you sick. If a relationship, whether it's a partner, friend, or family member, is toxic, it's time to walk away. Not every relationship can be saved, and that's okay. Walking away is not about giving up. It's about choosing to live your life on your terms. It's about creating space for healthier, more loving relationships to enter your life. You are not obligated to tolerate toxicity, no matter where it comes from. Walking away is not only an act of self-preservation, it's an act of courage. You're choosing your own well-being over someone else's dysfunction. That's the greatest gift you can give yourself. To wrap it up, dealing with toxic people is one of the most difficult challenges you'll face, but it's also one of the most empowering journeys you'll ever undertake. By applying these 13 Stoic-inspired strategies, identifying toxic behavior, setting boundaries, mastering non-reaction, practicing forgiveness, and ultimately walking away, you can take back control of your emotional and mental well-being. Remember, you are not responsible for fixing toxic people, and you don't owe them your energy or your peace. You are responsible for yourself, and that is your greatest power. These principles will not only protect you from toxic people, but they'll also help you grow into the best, strongest version of yourself. You deserve relationships that nurture you, not ones that drain you. You deserve peace, and with these strategies, peace is something you can achieve, no matter how toxic the people around you may be. If this video resonated with you, and you found these insights valuable, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm committed to helping people break free from toxic relationships and live healthier, happier lives. And if you're in a position to support the channel further, consider joining our channel memberships. Every membership helps us continue to create content that empowers people like you to take control of your life and find peace in a world full of chaos. Whether you subscribe or join the membership, both are incredible ways to support the channel and make these life-changing messages accessible to as many people as possible. Let's build a community of emotional warriors who refuse to be controlled by toxic people. You deserve peace, and together we can create it. Thanks for watching.